Technology has changed our lives. It's changed so much about how we do business and has really changed a tremendous amount about how we communicate. We do not communicate like previous generations. Back 30, 40 years ago, even less than, people would communicate via face-to-face meeting, or just recently, the new invention was that people would communicate via the telephone. And the telephone itself, we had originally thought was a major change between our generation and previous generations. And it was, as far as a form of communication. And while the telephone brought its challenges of knowing who really was on the other side of the line, knowing who they really were as opposed to potentially who may have pretended to be, how much more so do we have the challenge when it comes to the internet and finding truth and finding reality within the people that we communicate with. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the standard situation. Most of us know who we communicate with, but there are times where we receive emails or we're in touch via social media with someone and we're not exactly sure who they are. They may profess to be someone and actually be someone else. Why am I bringing all this up? Because the pasuk in our parasha says, Midvar sheker tirchak, that one should keep away from sheker. One should keep away, one should stay far away from something which is a falsehood. And Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, the master of the Musar movement, would say that it is greater, it's easier to finish the entire Talmud than it is to change a character trait. So child psychologists tell us that we have to be sure that when our children are very young, we have to make sure that when we tell them that they're going to get something, if they do X, that we follow through and actually give them that item. Because if we don't give them that item, then they will eventually come to lie themselves, and it presents us as being liars. Now, interesting that child psychologists tell us this, but the fact of the matter is that thousands of years ago, it was the Gemara in Sukkah that told us this, where Rabbi Zera said a person should never promise something to their child and not follow through on it, because it'll make the child grow up to be a person who lies. And because the Torah tells us, Midvar sheker tirchak, we should stay far away from lying. Something which is so very important in our world, to be truthful, not to be misleading, something many of times we take for granted. And we also take for granted the fact that even if it's not directly involved with our children, we assume that our children will not find out. Fact of the matter is, be it our children or our grandchildren, be it today, tomorrow, or years from now, they will know whether we were truthful about everything in our lives, whether we were emistic, true, and honest people when it came to our business dealings, when it came to our dealings with other people, and whether we were straight when it came to even our own personal lives and the way in which we spoke and treated other people. So let us be zocha, let us merit to live true lives of emes and fulfill the meaning of the pasuk Midvar sheker tirchak. Thank you, and have a good Shabbos.